So, this morning we're talking about how to use it. Now, I've been using it since 1992, and I really thought that I knew what this chapter was going to say. And then I read it and went, it doesn't say at all what I thought it was going to say. So, after a lot of prayer and contemplation this week using the law, I've come up with what I want to say about it. It is all about the law. In saying that, I want to read the definition of the law so that you understand what I'm saying. The law is mind in action. The creative medium of spirit is the great mental law of the universe. It is the law of spirit. It is the universal law of mind. The laws of mind and spirit must be understood if they are to be consciously used for definite purposes. There is no limit to the law, but there appears to be a limit of man's understanding of it. The thing that makes us sick is also the thing which heals us. We need not look for a law of sickness and a law of health. There is only one law. Our misuse of this makes it appear that there are many laws. Whenever we think, believe in, feel, visualize, vision, read, talk about, in fact, all processes which affect or impress us at all are going into the subjective state of our thought, which is our individualized use of universal mind. The law is blind. It is a blind force, and whatever goes into the subjective state of our thought tends to return again as condition. So that said, I would like you to think of something in your life that maybe isn't going the way you would have it go. It could be relationship, finance, work, health, anything. Think about that for just a moment. And when you're thinking about that, think about what your self-talk is around that. Is your self-talk one of lack, of limitation? Do you tell yourself you're not good enough, you don't deserve? Is there sorrow or loss? What do you feel in your body? So now, on a lighter note, think about something in your life that's going really well. Something you deem that's good, that's great. What are you good at? What do you like? What do you love? Some people, it's their finances, their work. For me, it's work. I love my work. Relationship, what is it? And now that you've thought of that, what do you tell yourself about that? You tell yourself how much you enjoy it, how wonderful it is, how loving it is, how creative it is. What do you feel in your body when you think about it? You feel joy, pleasure? You've just used the law twice. And we use it constantly. Every thought we have, everything. And it seems like it's two different laws, but it's not. It's only one, and it's the way we use it that makes it out picture in our life the way it does. We have all kinds of beliefs, and many of them we're unaware of. They were given to us by our parents, family, friends, the media. We're constantly barraged with thoughts and feelings, and we don't always know which ones we embody. Some of them are easy, like money doesn't grow on trees, or, you know, you have to look just this way to be a movie star, or whatever. But some of them, we don't even know where they came from or what they are. But you do not have to know. That's the good news. What you have to do is put your faith in the law, and that the law will work for you. So I came to the church in 1992. And Carolyn McEwen stood up here and told me, and everyone, that I was responsible for my life. And I went, hooray, because if I'm responsible, I can change it. If I'm a victim, if something's done to me, I can't change that, but I can change it if I am responsible for it. And that was my first awareness that there was something in the universe that would work for me. A few years later, I was at work. 2006, the book The Secret was released, and then the movie. I don't know if there's anyone here that hasn't heard of those. But I would be at work, and people would come to me, and they would hand me their copy of The Secret. And they would say to me, I know you believe this, but it's too hard. I can't do it. It's here, you just take it. And I could never quite make them understand that they were using the law and it was working perfectly through them in their denial of using it. But because I'm here at this church, I have learned that that is fact. I have some areas in my life that are going great. I have others that I would like to change. And when I find myself dwelling on those others, it's like, okay, Teri, stop it. What are you doing? You're creating here. So I stop sometimes. Sometimes I dwell in it for a while because that's where I need to be. And, but I know that I can change it. I know I have the opportunity, if I so desire, to change it. Dr. Holmes says on page 57 of the textbook, the one who wishes scientifically to work out his problems must daily take the time to meditate and mentally treat the condition, no matter what the apparent contradictions may be. He is working scientifically in the law, and the law will find an outlet through his faith in it. So there's a treatment in the book on page 56 that I've been using this week. And I want to share it with you because it's a very powerful treatment written by Dr. Holmes, and anyone can use it for anything. So if you have a textbook, it's on page 56. If you don't and want a copy, I would be happy to make you one. The treatment is, I am a center in the divine mind, a point of God-conscious life, truth and action. My affairs are divinely guided and guarded into right action, into correct results. Everything I do, say, or think is stimulated by the truth. There is power in this word that I speak because it is of the truth and it is the truth. There is perfect and conscious right action in my life and affairs. All belief in wrong action is dispelled and made negative. Right action alone has power, and right action is power, and power is God, the living Spirit Almighty. This Spirit animates everything that I do, say, or think. Ideas come to me daily, and these ideas are divine ideas. They direct me and sustain me without effort. I am consciously directed. I am compelled to do the right thing at the right time, to say the right word at the right time, to follow the right course at all times. All suggestion of age, poverty, limitation, or unhappiness is uprooted from my mind and cannot gain entrance to my thought. I am happy, well, and filled with perfect life. I live in the spirit of truth and am conscious that the spirit of truth lives in me. My word is the law unto its own manifestation, and will bring to me or cause me to be brought to its fulfillment. There is no unbelief, no doubt, no uncertainty. I know, and I know that I know. Every thought of doubt vanishes from my mind, that I know the truth, and the truth makes me free. Namaste.
Okay, I guess you know my name, Sherry. I think I started 40 years ago in the science of mind. When we began the church here in Chico, I was on the board in Paradise. So I got off the board there and helped start the church here. I think I'm one of the very few, if only the two, founding members that are left. There's Carolyn, of course.
No, there's more.
There's more?
Oh, yeah, Michael Benson and Liz and who else?
Oh, okay. There's a few of us. So, and I've been a practitioner for 18 years. But I'm still learning. That was a good treatment that Teri read you was one I was going to read. So it must be good. I have other gems from Ernest Holmes. The possibility of spiritual mind healing, changing environment, controlling conditions, etc., through the power of right thinking, rest entirely upon the theory that we are all surrounded by a universal mind. It reacts to our thought, and always according to law. We find that prayer is essential to happiness, for righteous prayer sets the law spirit of life in motion for our good. Prayer is essential to the conscious well-being of the soul. Prayer has stimulated countless millions to higher thoughts and better lives. Prayer is its own answer. And here prayer could be interchanged with treatment. Before our prayer is framed in words, the possibility of his answer already exists. So, the universe is waiting to give you your good. In fact, it's already been given, all of your good. All you have to do is open up and receive it and believe in it. A practitioner could help you. A spiritual practitioner is one who recognizes man as a spiritual reality. Since there is but one mind, the practitioner makes this recognition within his own mind. Through the medium of the one mind, his statements rise to the objective conditions in his patient, according to his belief and to the patient's receptivity. Healing is accomplished through setting the act of subjective law in motion. The more spiritual or godlike the mentality of the practitioner, the more powerful the treatment. A mental treatment begins and ends within the thought of the practitioner because he is in the same mind in which his patient lives. Treatment is the act of inducing right concepts on the subjective side of life. Absent and present treatments are the same, for there's no absence in the mind of spirit. The practitioner only needs to know whom he needs to help. That's why sometimes we are given a number when there's a request for healing. And we don't know who it is, but Spirit knows who that number belongs to, and the treatment goes through just the same. Healing is not a process, but a revelation. For the revealing of the perfect man always heals, for the perfect man is always there. So I will give you the steps of treatment. I want you to remember, like Teri told you about the law. You're using this law all the time in your life. When you say, I can't get that new car, guess what? Spirit says, no, you can't. You say, I can get that new car, and Spirit says, yes, we can. So, whether you know it or not, you're using the law all the time, so you might as well consciously use it. Go around saying, I got the car, I got the car, I got the car. Or, I got the healing, or whatever else it is that you so desire. And there's 5 steps to treatment. Number 1 is recognition, and that is recognizing God. God is. God is all there is. God is spirit. God is universal mind. You put through your mind all the things that you know and think that God is until you're sure. And then you unify. Number 2, you say, I am one with God. And then you say all the ways you are one with God and one with universal spirit. I am one with mind. And then you declare what it is you want. You say, I am healed, I am healthy, whole. And sometimes if you feel like you're having a little trouble there, then you say, you can deny what it is. I know this cold is not really true. This is not the perfect outpicturing of myself. And you can go through a denial or not. That part is optional, the denial. but you have to declare what it is you want. I want that new job. I know I can have it. I know it is mine. And then you give thanks. You give thanks to God for all the things you have and all the wonderful blessings in your life. And then you release and you let go. You turn it over to God. You don't hang on to it. You can treat again, but when you do the treatment, you turn it loose. Let go and let God work on it. And it'll come to manifest. And I brought something to show you, just because I thought I'd run out of time. This is, oops, my wish book. I made this more than 30 years ago. It's old, it's decrepit, but here's me in my perfect form. I never quite got there yet. My perfect slenderness. Here's my wardrobe I'm going to wear. When I get to my, although I did get most of the wardrobe, it just fits a different body than I had pictured. And here's my healthy living with a scale at the perfect 130 pounds. And the food I eat, and here's all my exercising. I know you can't see from there, but you get the idea. This book is well used. And the prosperity, there's money growing on trees, money sticking out of a piggy bank, tickets I won when I won something. And here, this one is, for me, it's all the things I love to do. Painting and collecting art glass, going to yard sales. This one's spiritual. It has our old California Park building in there, and Carolyn and Mac are my spiritual directors. And here's travel, places I want to go. And I took out going on a cruise. You have to be careful what you put on your, you can make this on a poster board or in an album like I did. I hadn't really ever desired to go on a cruise, but I put a cruise in there because the picture was pretty. I thought, maybe I'll go. And when I went to go to sign up for my honeymoon, she said, no, they're all sold out in Hawaii, all the good hotels and everything, but we have one cruise left. And it was in the nose of the ship. And if you've been on a cruise, you know the nose of the ship is the one that goes like this. So I was seasick it was rough, too. I was seasick for 3 days until they took the patch off my ear, and then I felt fine. And I took out the picture of me getting married. I had a wedding picture in here. I don't want to lose the husband I got, so I took that out. Now, like I said, you have to be careful what you put in there. You might get it. Probably get it. Thank you.
My name is John Boyle, and I'm here to share with you this chapter. And I'm going to do it kind of quick because we're pushing. But the thing, this chapter starts off with Dr. Holmes giving us a little bit of a warning, okay? And what he says is making us aware of one of the great difficulties of this teaching, indulging in too much theory and not enough practice. Right? And so that kind of sets the stage for this chapter. This chapter is about how do you use it. And basically what he's telling us is, you know, whatever you're able to demonstrate, that's how much of it you got. And the rest of it is theory. So think about that. I know I have been. So, now, in order to really practice this idea of us being able to consciously demonstrate or manifest in our life, right? In order for us to do that, what is that based on? And if you can't get this right, then, oh man. What is it based on? How do we manifest? How do we change our lives? Through what? Our beliefs, our thinking, our knowing. And then the law acts upon it, right? But it's through our beliefs and through our thoughts. So, what is the first thing, though, if you want to make a change in your life? If I walk away from this, I got to stay here. Huh? Okay, if you want to make a change in your life, you want to manifest something, what's the very first thing you have to do? Know what it is? Intention. You got to make a decision. You got to decide what you want. Because if you don't make a decision and you're going back and forth on what it is that you want, guess what? You already know what happens, right? The law reflects that right back to you, doesn't it? Okay? So making a decision is really important. And I want to tell you a little story about that. A few years back, 2007, everybody remembers that as being the Great Recession, right? The Great Recession that hit. And so our company, like many other companies, went through various cost-saving measures, et cetera, et cetera. And it wasn't long after that that I started becoming kind of unhappy with where I was in my job. I didn't like it. I didn't like, I didn't feel like I was being appreciated. I didn't feel like I had the ability to be creative. I didn't feel like we were working together as a team. And yet, I would daily in my practice talk about the harmony at work and that, the abundance and the harmony and all of those things. But on another level, what I was doing is I was thinking, gosh, if this guy could just do his job, it makes so much easier for me to do my job. And so what am I doing? I'm creating these affirmations in my mind, and as I'm thinking about the lack of organization, the lack of being able to be creative, what do you think is coming up in front of me? All of those things. I'm noticing you become hypersensitive to any little thing that's out of order. Oh, that just affirms how disorganized it is. And any little, it just and so I finally got to this place where I said, this isn't what I want. What is it that I really want? You see, we can make announcements. We can announce that we live in that we are in harmony, that in abundance. We can make those announcements, but what fuels that announcement? And that announcement may be true too, by the way. It may be absolute spiritual fact that we are in abundance and one and all of that stuff. But that doesn't mean anything unless there's belief behind it. Got to have belief behind it. That's what, you see, the law works through us. The law works through us, and it's through our belief. So, I want to make sure, okay. Okay, so the question then becomes, when you're in this position, you have to ask yourself, and I ask this of myself all the time as a practitioner, what do I believe? What is it that I really believe? What do I believe about abundance? What do I believe about health? What do I believe about relationships? Do I believe what I say I believe? Am I in integrity with what I say I believe? And if I am in integrity with what I say I believe, then you know what I have to do? I have to apply it. That's the thing. So I don't need to necessarily go back and say, well, why is it that I believe this or why is it that I believe that? What I do is I meet with God in here and I know what the truth is, and then I base my belief off of that. That is what I believe. And when I move to that place, then I can create and manifest in harmony with oneness. And so in this particular situation, I realized, I'm not really happy here. And so I was ready to move on to another job. And so in my work and realizing this is what I really want now, and I'm starting to do my prayer practice of the kind of job that I want where I could be creative I want to have a job where there was abundance and growth and not this recession, right? And then I wanted to be appreciated for the work I did. And so what I remembered then about myself is those things that I want, I need to become. So I started appreciating the people around me more. Really seeing the job that they were doing and showing appreciation. And in that, I received a lot more appreciation for the work I did, which then fueled better teamwork. Which then I started to recognize through the appreciation how organized we were in certain areas. Yeah, there were some areas that weren't, but we really were pretty organized. And pretty soon the whole energy started to change. And then I had this idea about what I wanted to see the company in, a direction I wanted to see it go, and I shared it with the owner of the company, and sure enough, we were very much in agreement, and we came up with a whole new concept for the company. And we wanted to create a place where people would come, where families would come, and be able to be together and celebrate together like we used to be a long time ago, and some of that kind of got away from us. So we had a real high quality, a higher thought of what it was that we wanted to do. And together we created a new concept called the Clubhouse. And it excited everybody in the company, got excited about it. And it became extremely successful, really successful. Sometimes I wonder if that was too much to do, because we've now built 8 of them in a very short amount of time. And then, about a year ago, I was promoted and became the CEO of the company. But I was totally prepared to move on to something else. But I created my own job. See? That's good. Got a couple minutes. Okay, because there's a couple of things I really want to say here. Okay. So what we are really doing in this teaching is demonstrating the supremacy of spiritual thought force over apparent material resistance. Has anybody come in contact with material resistance? So in this chapter, he says when you come across material resistance, it's this higher thought that wins out. You have to take it to a higher thought. Stuff happens all the time. Even if you're practicing constantly, don't think that nothing is going to come into your consciousness. And I know you don't, because it doesn't. But when it does, it's the higher thought that we're called to do in this teaching. That's the practice. That moves us out of the theory into the practice. What is the higher thought? Maybe plans don't go exactly how you're figuring it. And how we react to that can make a big difference on what we end up with. And then I wanted to. There's another piece here, and then we got to probably move along here. Okay. Then this is the one that I love the most out of this whole chapter. I absolutely love this. In dealing with this subtle power of mind and spirit, we are dealing with a fluent force. It is forever taking form and forever deserting the form which it has taken. It's like sandcastles, you know? Thus, a practitioner of this science should not be confused over any given form, but should know that any form which is not of original harmony is subject to change. I remember when I first heard this. I mean, I heard it, but when I really heard it, that we are surrounded by conditions, and conditions change. And we can change conditions with our mind, with our thinking. That is awesome. That is awesome. And that's all I got to say, because it's time.